Hello, welcome ladies and gentlemen. We are back today with another Cello 101. Today we're going to run through Song of the Wind. We're also going to introduce a couple other things to kind of pay attention to. Let's go ahead and start by making sure that our bows are nice and tight. I have warmed up a little bit today before this, so my bows are already up and running. This one has something that we haven't seen a lot of so far, which is going to be eighth notes. This is also a 2/4, so instead of 4 beats, measure, measure. This one only gets 2, so it'll be measure, measure, measure. So this one is going to be significantly faster. Granted, we're not going to play it quite as fast, but this one moves quickly. This one's a nice little ditty, and this one also will have some interesting string crossings, because we're going to be bouncing. There's a couple of fingerings in here. Measure 3, where you have 1 on the A, 4 on the D, 4 on the A, 1 on the A. It's a nice little turn. It's a nice little figure. The problem with that one is making sure that when you play that 4th string, you can roll over and catch the or when you play the 4th finger on the D string, you could roll over and catch that 4th finger on the A without having to jump, basically. It's not quite a bar like you would think of for guitar or that kind of a deal, but it's a nice quick transition that will help you with speed further on down the line. The other thing to keep in mind, in measure 10, we have a marking that we have not seen. Looks like a comma. This one was originally borrowed out of choral works, and that is a breath mark. Again, cellos don't really breathe. Depending on the piece that you're playing, reminding the cellist to breathe at times could be, well, positive. But the breath mark here has an interesting connotation. So measure 10 sounds like, and then it goes immediately into a measure 11. So if it was played without the breath mark, it would be, out of context, it doesn't make as much sense, but you will have a slight lift. You'll have a slight, like if you're playing flute or a woodwind or a brass, it would be a slight moment to catch your breath, and that's basically exactly the same thing that you do with the bow. So instead of, it's, you don't necessarily have to hook bow it. I just wasn't paying attention. So it's a nice light lift right there to help you, as we were talking earlier with those nice long curves through the music and the helping with the inertia and helping with the forward momentum of the song. This is another one of those ornamentations that you can use to help develop that forward momentum. So, keeping the tempo down, maybe a little bit. Let's go ahead and run it at that pace. So I'll play it first, just so you can hear what it sounds like, and then we will break it down by chunks. 1, 2, 1. Now, at the end, there is a repeat mark. Normally, when you would be playing this or performing this, the repeat mark would be very useful, and that you would repeat from the beginning, since there's no other marks or stage directions, so to speak. But for this instance, we'll just be playing it through the one time, so that we can work on the individual chunks and then kind of move forward. Because there's only really 2 phrases to this song, and so repeating it allows you to get a little bit more length out of the song. The other side is in more traditional dances where this type of music was very, very common and needed, you would be able to repeat it as many times as you needed until everybody was finished dancing. So let's go ahead and take a look at the first 6 measures. Yeah, because that really is there. So let's go ahead and we'll go ahead and run it a little bit slower. So it would be 1, 2, 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and then once we get the entire thing down, we can run it a little bit faster. Starting at the beginning, go ahead and play with me until measure 6. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 The big thing to keep in mind is that and making sure that you're keeping your fingers low so that you can hit that jump from the G to the D very easily and very quickly. Let's go ahead and play that one more time at the same speed. Da, 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 da. Don't mind the bouncy bow at the end there. Let's go ahead and move on to the second section. What you'll see here is also another common technique to help develop interest from a musical standpoint, not so much a playing interpretation standpoint, and that is dragging one of the notes past the bar line so that when you feel that pulse that is very, very well set up by the beginning, it's drug over the bar line, which increases interest and makes it a little bit more, oh, hey, there's something different going on. So playing the second chunk at the same speed, 1 and 2 and da, 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 da. That is actually a hook bowing. So what you'll do is it's basically a double down there. Measure 10 would be down, up, down, down. So let's go ahead and run that second section at that same da, 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 da. So let's go ahead and run it from the beginning to the end with a little bit faster pace. Da, 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 da. You'll notice that I breathe on the rests in here, and that's something that I picked up during small ensemble. And so when you're starting a downbeat, when you're starting a piece, when you're making an entrance, when you're doing all those kind of things, you generally want to let everybody else know in such a way that it's not obtrusive to the music. So you're not shouting, I'm coming in now, but you are keeping everything locked in with everybody else, so that you can keep time, so that you don't drag slower, you don't accidentally ramp up faster. It also helps keep everybody in sync. So let's go ahead and try that one more time, a little bit faster. So 1, 2, 1. So this one really is nice when it's a little bit faster, when there's a bit of a clip to it. Because it's nice, light, it's bouncy, it's fun. And the other side is you can now understand why it's normally repeated, 5 or 6 times, so that everybody can get a full dance out of it. If there's, even if there's only 5 or 6 people on the dance floor, that little amount of time is just enough time for them to realize what's going on in the music, and then, okay, we're done now. So that's why it would be repeated, 5 or 6 times. So this week, or whatever your practice period is, why don't you go ahead and work on Song of the Wind and then get that one up to a nice, happy, bouncy clip. And with that, go forth and practice. Thank you very much, and I will catch you again soon.